appropriately, not just training them out of school and leave them to perform their duties. They need to be proactive. They need to bring in consultants to do these trainings for them. And in Nigeria, we have lots of such consultants who can do the job.
You know, I'm just wondering, because you say failure of security agencies to handle this, particularly even the police. In the same breath, you say you think the police can actually do this job. Yeah. So how do you think that they can perform this function if they failed so far?
Okay, I think they should sit down and rethink of all this that's been happening. They have the personnel. They should call all their personnel together. They should call their consultants together and sit down on a round table and say, okay, this is the problem we're having. Don't shy away from it that you failed. Sit down and map out a plan of how to resolve this. For instance, I believe that training it's important. Engaging the community is also important. They should also involve the community leaders. Whether we like it or not, they see things firsthand. The police in the community see things firsthand. They know who these people are in most cases. They know how to deal with them.
But there's been question about the way the police is handling this. There's been questions about the rhetoric coming from the police. Some say it may not necessarily engender the kind of confidence that the community wants, such that they can then volunteer information to them. Because if that can't happen at the moment, if that's not happening at the moment, isn't that the basis upon which people still think that they will still fail?
They can still, see, even if you failed and you accept you failed and you go back to this community, for me, it's all about going back to the round table and again engaging with this community. Fine, we failed, but now we want to put it right. This is what we need to do. Let the information be there. If they need anything, attend to it. I mean, these days I'm surprised that in Nigeria, for instance, we don't have like a central database, a central telephone system where anybody can call and give information anonymously. In the UK, we have such things like that. Do you understand? You can easily, you don't even need to call. Everybody has a mobile phone these days. Just go, give the information, it goes to the database, they look at it at their headquarters, and they react to it.
You know, you said something about they need to sit down, have a conversation, go back and engage the community.
That's true.
What area of engagement are you looking at the security operatives and the community? How do you mean engage them? Dialogue or counseling?
There's a disengagement between the community and the security services because of what has been happening in the past. So, for me, I would say they need to go back there and find a common ground. Talk to each other, counsel each other, give people information. If you say things like this, if you think that you can contact this, you can get...
The other side of it, there are those who will be concerned that you're asking security operatives to go in and engage the community, counsel each other, have a conversation, but then what about prosecuting those who are believed to have perpetrated these atrocities? How about capturing them and then ensuring that justice is done?
That is one of the things that I said. When they go on the round table, these are the things they need to discuss. The army cannot do it for them. It's Nigerian police, for instance, that needs to do things like that. They need to capture all these people. They need to and that's where the trust comes in. When they engage with the community, when they start arresting people who engage in such ridiculous acts and put them where they should be, the judiciary system also needs to be involved. If all these things are being in place, the trust will come back in, the society will be much, much calmer.
When you were talking, your earlier submission, you mentioned something about change of attitude. I think you said something about changing in attitude.
Yes.
Is it, especially for the police?
It's for the police.
Why would you say they should change their attitude? What attitude do they have now that's not helping the situation?
Like I said, sometimes it's been politicized, which for me, as a security agency, they should not do that. They should be fair and fair to everybody, regardless of who you are, where you come from. I mean, again, it's a system.
You're implying that politics is sipped into the policing system.
Exactly.
So is it possible to get politics out of the Nigeria police so that they can focus on work?
Yes, I think so. Until one day, the IG of this country is not a police officer. It's not a police officer. You don't have to be a police officer. Do you understand? That is when things will change. We need to change the system. We need to change how all these people, works. Do you understand? The attitude. Do you understand? Because the IG today does not mean you should sack the next. Like over 30 people because they are of the same rank with you, or they will be above you. So that attitude needs to change.
Let me take it from this angle where solutions have been trying to come up from different quarters, some of which includes the security summits that were held. One was held by the Senate. Even the IG himself held a security summit. What do you make of all these efforts to try to stop these killings and attacks, especially in the middle belt areas? Are they really working? Do we need to go the way of holding security summits, and even after that, we still see people being killed?
No, I don't think so. For me, the summit, for instance, is just a show off. You understand? Yeah, it's a show off. There are urgent things that needs to be done, and you are holding a summit. Like, seriously, you need to go back to the round table, see how to tackle all these things, and I believe, do you understand, that the Nigerian police can do it. Let their officers be trained. Let's have this proactive attitude towards things, not reactive when it happens, then we are all there. And this attitude of state government running to the federal government to bring in the army, I just think it's wrong.
But what capacity have they demonstrated to make you think that they can do it? Because, if people are wielding AK-47 and the police don't have AK-47, how do you face up with such people?
In the first place, you think about, okay, where did they get all this ammunition? Where did they get them from? Who gives them the license, for instance? In Nigeria,
are they even licensed?
Exactly.
You're assuming they're licensed.
Yeah, we're assuming they're licensed.
What if they're not?
If they're not, then it's the duty of the police to make arrests, to take all those things. It can be done. People have been arrested before for having arms and taken away from them. This can be done. Sometimes, I've not seen them physically, but I see them on newspapers with the Herdsmen holding AK-47. So it's not that they are hiding